For my next Disney Plus series review, I'm actually doing a show that technically is not a Disney Plus exclusive. However, most people are finally getting the chance to see it in their part of the world, thanks to its debut on the service. Legend of the Three Caballeros had quite the curious development. Rather than Disney Television Animation, it was produced by Disney Digital Network, formerly Maker Studios. This show was so under the radar, even the team behind the new DuckTales was largely unaware of its existence, and most people did not know this was a thing until it premiered on a Disney app in the Philippines in 2018. Due to my fondness for the Three Caballeros, I was definitely curious about it and was excited to finally watch it when Disney Plus launched. In many ways, Legend of the Three Caballeros reminded me of the 80s-90s Disney afternoon shows. It's definitely going for an adventurous feel, and Matt Danner and his team really helped build the world and characters in it. The dynamic between the cool and collected José Carioca and Panchito and the more temperamental Donald Duck is played really well. The show also introduces Xandra, the goddess of adventure, who aids the Three Caballeros and motivates them during their adventures. As voiced by Grey Griffin, I really dug this character, who essentially acts as the straight woman for the bird's antics and participates in a lot of nifty action sequences. There's also the main villain, hilariously voiced by Wayne Knight, who has to deal with the taunts from his evil wizard ancestor who is trapped in a magical staff. It makes more sense in context. For Disney fans, part of the fun of the Legend of the Three Caballeros also comes from the surprising nods to Disney canon. For example, rather than Huey, Dewey, and Louie, the show uses Daisy's nieces, April, May, and June, characters that have mostly existed in comics form but are rarely ever used in the animated shows. Using these three gives the writers a bit more freedom to make them their own, and they're not turned into copies of Donald's nephews either. Humphrey the Bear also becomes a recurring character at one point, which as a longtime fan of his shorts made me really happy. There's even a goblin they meet who looks a lot like the Horned King's henchman in the Black Cauldron. And of course, if you're going to have a Three Caballeros show, you need to have the Aracuan bird, and he ends up as a delightful supporting player. The episode's storylines have fun with different mythologies, and the writers come up with so many creative ideas. The development of Donald throughout the show is also nicely handled. His longtime voice actor, Tony Anselmo, has said he considers this to be the most faithful representation of Donald, and I can see that. There were a number of times where I felt really sorry for him, especially in the first episode, which has one bad thing after another happening to him. The character designs stay very faithful to the originals, and while the animation has an obvious Flash-like look to it, it's not too distracting. The animators actually do a really good job with the various action scenes, with the final episode especially looking really nice. If I have one criticism, it's in regards to José Carioca. I think Eric Bauza is an extremely talented voice actor, but I did not think his José sounded like he came from Brazil. He strangely sounded a lot more like Antonio Banderas, who, FYI, is Spanish. It's a noble effort though, but I guess I'm just extra critical due to José Carioca being one of my favorite Disney characters, and I don't think anyone has yet come close to José Oliveira's portrayal in Saludos Amigos and the Three Caballeros. Otherwise, I greatly enjoyed Legend of the Three Caballeros, with the makers creating a fun serialized adventure that nicely paid homage to classic Disney comics and featured a whole bunch of clever mystical artifacts and charming characters. The show does end on a bit of a cliffhanger and the potential for more stories with these personalities, but I've not read anything about a second season. Hopefully Disney does consider producing one, and if you have Disney Plus, please give the show a look and support it.